Hello. On behalf of all of us here at Estrada Real Estate Group, we want to thank you for choosing us to help with the sale of your home. We know that you had plenty agents to choose from, and we are so honored to be your choice. Our office just sent you an email with all of your listing paperwork, and I am here to walk you through that. So let's get to it. Okay, so you just received an email that looks like this. This is all of the listing paperwork that we will need you to review and sign so that we can start marketing your home. If you click on the blue links, it'll pull up the form. For example, this is closing instructions. This is what hires the title company to do a title search and provide title insurance to the buyer of your home. This goes over all of their responsibilities and the services that they provide, along with their fee, which is split between you and the buyer of your home, and how they will give you your net proceeds. We suggest funds electronically transferred through a wire as the best way to receive your proceeds. As you go through all of these, you will get to the signature boxes. This is going to be the same for every document that you review and sign moving forward. If you click on the select signature font link right here in the middle, you'll have a drop-down menu of fonts that you can choose from. Select the one that speaks to you best. I always like font number 6. And then when you're ready to save, you just click this link of save over here. It's going to ask you if you want to accept your electronic signature. Once you click accept, it is signed and automatically sent back to us. The next document is going to be the exclusive right to sell listing contract. This is also known as the listing agreement, and this is the document that hires us to sell and market your home on your behalf. The first paragraph that you want to pay attention to is paragraph 2, and this means that we are a multiple person firm. There are more than one broker that works within our firm. You're going to want to confirm that your names are spelled correctly and that your address is correct. The next point you're going to want to review is the listing period. Now, depending on what you discussed with the agent that came and met with you with the Estrada Real Estate Group, this can vary anywhere from 60 days to 120 days to 6 months, depending on your situation. This particular one here in our example is for 120 days. The next paragraph I want to cover is 3.9.2 here. What this is saying is that if any deadline falls on a Saturday, Sunday, or a holiday, it will automatically be extended to the next business day. The next section covers the different kinds of brokerage relationships that you can have with an agent. This is a seller agency, meaning you are hiring us as your agent and your agent only. Should that need to change for some reason down the road, that is a conversation that our team would have with you and discuss the differences between a seller agent and a transaction broker. The next section covers the brokerage duties. These are all of the things that we will perform on your behalf. Note any questions that you might have about any of these, because we will want to have a quick chat with you before you sign these documents to make sure that we answer any questions or concerns that you might have. Paragraph 5.8 just states that we will disclose to interested buyers or brokers the existence of any multiple offers. We do think that that is in your best interest as our client, to notify all parties that they're all multiple offers so that we can get you the best terms possible. The next section talks about compensation. This will always be determined by your conversation with the Estrada Real Estate Group agent and can vary depending on your situation. We do always recommend that together we as a team will pay a cooperating broker a commission to bring us a buyer. It just increases the marketability of the home and increases the buyer pool to help us find the most buyers for your home. If you want to have a conversation more in depth about that, please just let us know. We're happy to do so. 7.2.3 just talks about a holdover period. Basically what this is saying is that if for any time that you are within this listing period, if someone showed that property and then for whatever reason this listing agreement expires. If anyone that showed the property within the time that this listing contract was in place, we are still entitled to compensation from that broker or buyer. Let's see, paragraph 8 talks about third-party compensation. We do not receive third-party compensation, but if we did, we would have to disclose that to you. Number 9 starts to talk about the marketing of the property. Your property will be entered into the MLS, which is the database, the central database for all of the real estate agents in Colorado to find your property. And it will show your address and the property listing on the internet. If that is a concern for you, please have a conversation with your agent so that we can adjust that and talk about the pros and cons of having your information on the internet. People will access your property through a manual lockbox. That is a code that we will have, that you will have, and our showing service will have. When the time comes for showings, you will receive phone calls from our showing service named Showing Time or a text, and they will say, an agent would like to show your home, for example, at 1 o'clock tomorrow. You can either approve that, reject that, or ask them to reschedule. The showing service then goes into the database to make sure that the agent that would like to show the home is in good standing, has no outstanding complaints, and has an active real estate license. Once they have confirmed that they are in good standing, they will then share the lockbox code with that agent, and the agent will then bring the buyer to look at your home. The next paragraph talks about all of the marketing that we will do to sell your home. We probably talked about this a little bit in our initial appointment, but here it is laid out for you just in case you want to review. Once the property goes under contract, we will not market the property anymore unless we have had a conversation where backup offers or continuing to marketing would be in your best interest. Paragraph 10 talks about your obligations to us as our client. The first one, negotiations and communication. That just means that if anybody were to approach you and say they wanted to purchase your home, you would just direct them our way so that we could make sure that we are still negotiating the best terms on your behalf. And this is also saying that you are not currently a party to another listing agreement with another agent and that you own everything that you're going to be selling in the home. Paragraph 10 just states that if you are in foreclosure, these are the steps that would need to be taken. And then paragraph 11 talks about price and terms. This is something that you decided upon with the Estrada Real Estate Group team, and that would be reflected here. And we typically ask for a 1% earnest money deposit from a buyer on your home, which is deposited with the title company and held at the title company until closing. If the buyer does not default on any part of the contract, then that earnest money is then returned to them at closing to go towards their down payment or closing costs. If they do default and it is their fault, you would receive that earnest money deposit refunded to you as the seller. The next talk about taxes. If you are a foreign individual, they will have to collect a 15% tax at closing. And if you have any Colorado state taxes, those will be withheld at closing as well. This talks about all the inclusions and exclusions of the home. Anything that is permanently affixed or behind walls needs to stay at the home. Any appliances that you agreed upon to leave will be listed here, as well as any exclusions that you do not want included. So please make sure and review that the inclusions and exclusions are correct in the contract. If they are not, just let us know and we will make those adjustments. The next section talks about title and encumbrances. Again, we went through the closing instructions that hire the title company. The title company is going to do a title search to make sure that they are providing free and clear title to the buyer by way of general warranty deed or sometimes special warranty deed. If you have questions about what those are, please reach out and let us know. We're happy to go through those with you. If you have an HOA, those assessments will be listed here, and you're going to want to confirm that those are correct as of the day that you're listing. And possession will always be determined. Sometimes if you're going to be out by the time we close, then that's great. If you need extra time, that's okay too. That is always to be determined. Paragraph 18 talks about material defects, disclosures, and inspection. If you have told any of our brokers something that you know about the home that is a material defect, we are by law supposed to disclose that whether you want us to or not. So if there was a leak or the roof is shot or something like that, that is something that we would need to disclose. You will also fill out a seller's property disclosure form, which we will go over in just a moment. But that covers pretty much anything that you know about the condition of the property, and that is a very important form, and I will take you through that step by step. If your home was built prior to January 1, 1978, you will also need to provide a lead-based paint disclosure, stating whether or not you know if there's lead-based paint in the home and if you've ever had it tested. It is imperative that you have carbon monoxide alarms within 15 feet of every bedroom, and that the condition of the property will stay the same throughout the process. This talks about what happens if anybody defaults, and if you decide that we are not the agent for you, we are not going to make you work with us, simply send us an email stating this isn't working out and I would like out of my agreement, and we will gladly let you out. It's no fun for anybody to make you work with us or vice versa if we are not a good fit. Any cost of services that you have, if you need to have a professional come out and look at your HVAC system, for example, or something like that, all of those costs are going to be your responsibility. We do not cover any kind of outside testing when it pertains to the property. And the last couple, these are legal and tax documents. So if you have concerns about how this can impact you legally or tax-wise, we highly suggest that you consult an attorney or a CPA. And if a dispute were to arise between us, we would go to mediation. Never been to mediation. I don't plan on starting to go with you. But if we had to, I guess we would both find out what happens at mediation. And then if it went on to a civil situation, then the prevailing party would be entitled to attorney fees. This is the entire contract. And again, when you're ready to sign, just click that signature font, pick your font, click save, accept your electronic signature, and you are good. That was the longest one. So let's finish here. If you have a property, I talked about this a little bit, built before 1978, you will need to complete this lead-based paint disclosure, just saying that you don't have it, you don't know if there is or isn't, and let us know if you've had a test on it or not. This property disclosure is very lengthy, but we like to call this the keep yourself out of court document. This is your opportunity to list anything that you know that has in the past or does currently exist with the property. Like I said, this is pretty extensive and it can be a little confusing. So I'm just going to give you an example here. So Section A, building conditions, structural. If you have current structural damage, you would click yes. If you've had structural damage in the past and it's been repaired, I would not click yes, but I would list that in the comments. For instance, structure repaired in 2017, and I would leave it at that. Again, moisture and or water. If you currently have an issue, click yes. If you've had one in the past, don't click yes, but write down what it was. And if there's no moisture or water problems, just leave it blank. A majority of this form is going to be left blank. If you have any questions about where to put something, just reach out and let us know. We are happy to walk you through this. It can be a bit daunting, this form. The next form is going to be the source of water. This is just disclosing the water provider for your water service. If you live in a condo or a townhome and the HOA is the water, if you pay your water through the HOA, you still have a water provider. Typically it's your city, and we will put the city that you live in as the water provider. You just want to confirm that the water provider is the correct one. The square footage disclosure, this just states that we haven't personally measured the home. We are going off the county assessor's number. If you have an appraisal or some sort of other property measurement, we can use that and use that just the square footage, but typically we just use the assessor's office square footage and list it here. We only do above grade square footage. So if you do have a basement or a large finished basement, we will use that in our marketing, but for the square footage disclosure purposes, they just want above grade square footage. And the last document is going to be your estimated net sheet. So the line items here, first is going to be your sale price. Then we're going to write whatever your first balance of your loan is, whatever you owe on your mortgage currently, we will put in that line. That's going to give you your gross equity. Then we're going to go through and subtract all of the fees that you're going to have. In this example, it shows a listing commission of 3% and with 3% going to a selling broker. Like I mentioned earlier, that is always negotiable and that always changes. So these are just for this example. You would pay for your title insurance policy, 1/2 of the escrow fee to the title company, $25 to record and release the deed. They typically collect a $500 water escrow to pay your final water bill, and then that is refunded to you, whatever the difference is. I realize that that is a very large amount, but water is a lienable bill and it can create a lien on the property, and so the title companies like to over collect to make sure that they have enough to pay that final bill, and like I said, the overage is sent back to you. You'll have to pay your property taxes for the current year up until the point of closing. That will be a debit to you and a credit to the buyer of your home because they will be responsible for that full balance when they come due next year, since property taxes are paid in arrears in Colorado. And then we always like to throw a $500 miscellaneous fee on there just in case something pops up, an inspection item, something like that. Again, these are all example costs. Actual costs and fees will vary, but I just want to show you how to read through the net sheet. And again, when you're ready to sign, click save, accept that, and you are good to go. So I hope this was helpful in walking you through the listing paperwork. But again, as you go through, take those notes, reach out to one of us so we can make sure that you are completely comfortable before signing, and we look forward to moving toward the next step with you.